Mr. Whalen reads!
Hi friends, it's Mr. Whalen here. I have brought you another story. And I'll tell you, why do you think I picked up this book? Because that's what's on the cover. Look at that. What on earth? Who is this guy? What is he wearing? And it looks like he's maybe... This is what you see people do when they hail a cab. If you've ever been to a big city, it's like, hey, taxi, taxi. You know, they put their arm out like... This is the cover of the book. No words, no author name, nothing. This is the cover. So I look at this and I'm like, yeah, I want to know what that book's about. I have to turn it over to see what the book is called. It's called The Other Side of Town. The Other Side of Town is written by Jon Agee, written and illustrated. He's written a ton of children's books and illustrated them. Great author, great illustrator. But he did this book kind of backwards, didn't he? I mean, this is the front, and the title and his name are on the back. Well, this is kind of a backwards looking book, and so of course I get in and I read it and I'm like, oh, this is kind of a neat little story. So The Other Side of Town. So what happens on the other side of town? Do you ever hear that sometimes? Oh, they live on the other side of town. Or, oh, I'm from the other side of town. What's on the other side of town? Sometimes we don't know until we get there. We don't know what people do on the other side of town. Could be just like our side of town. Could be something completely different. We're not sure. There's a lot about people's lives we don't know, especially if they come from somewhere else. Sometimes we have to explore those places and say, hey, it's a lot like my home, or this is really different, but there are similarities. We can learn a lot about other people by finding out where they live and what their life is like somewhere else. So this is kind of about that. It's more of a fun story about that kind of thing, but it's a neat idea because it's true. We never know what people do, where they live, and what their cultures are like, and what their individual lives are like. They could be a lot like ours. Actually, we have a lot in common, probably more in common with people than you might think, even when they live on the other side of town. So, The Other Side of Town, fun book to read. I had fun reading it. It's my pleasure to share it with you, and I hope you enjoy it too. The Other Side of Town by Jon Agee. The Other Side of Town. I was having a lousy day. Few fares, bad tips, flat tire, when this guy in a funny hat weighed me down.
Take me to Schmeeka Street,
he said. You mean Bleecker Street, downtown?
No, Schmeeka Street, on the other side of town.
He told me how to get there, past the bus depot and the city dump, till we came to a dead end. Here we are, I said. This must be the other side of town.
Not yet,
he said, and he whipped out a remote control and pressed a button. The wall in front of us opened. What's this? I said.
The Finken Tunnel.
You mean the Lincoln Tunnel, after Abe Lincoln?
No, he said, the Finken Tunnel, after Gabe Finken. He's famous on the other side of town.
Okay, I said. Let's go. The Finken Tunnel went on for miles. I looked back and noticed the guy was reading the sports pages. You like baseball? I said.
Yeah, he said. I root for the Spankies.
You mean the Yankees?
Nah, the Spankies. They're the best team on the other side of town.
The tunnel led out onto a maze of ramps.
Straight ahead, said the guy, and look out for spot holes.
You mean potholes?
No, spot holes. Everybody complains about them on the other side of town.
I swerved and hit a spot hole. Everything went black.
Don't panic, he said. You just need to turn on your nog lights.
You mean fog lights?
No, nog lights. Don't you have no nog lights?
No, I don't. But let me guess. Everybody has nog lights on the other side of town. Then, ka-thunk, we popped out of the spot hole right onto Schmeeka Street. What's going on?
It's mush hour, he said.
You mean rush hour?
No, mush hour. It's a big headache on the other side of town.
We made it through mush hour.
There's my house, said the guy. On the right, next to the glom tree.
You mean the palm tree?
Nah, the glom tree. They grow like wild on the other side of town.
He paid his fare and started to go.
Wait, I said. How do I get back to the city? Easy, he said. You take the Schnooklin Bridge. You mean the Brooklyn Bridge? No, the Schmooklin Bridge. It's the most amazing bridge on the other side of town. Thanks, I said, and I hit the gas. Well, he was right. The Schnooklin Bridge really was pretty amazing. So amazing that it suddenly disappeared. Everything went black. I panicked. Help! Get me out of here! I looked around the cab for a map. In the back seat, I spotted the guy's remote control. There were 2 buttons, enter and exit. I pressed exit. Ha! Presto! There was Times Square. I hopped in my cab and raced home. I couldn't wait to tell everybody where I'd been.
You're just in time for dinner,
said my wife.
We're having tweetloaf.
You mean meatloaf with gravy?
No, tweetloaf with gravy. It's very popular on the other side of town.